Okay, so here's where I'm working. Here's the right smart pot. And here's where I discovered that sidewalk a month or two ago. And so I decided to see how far it went. This is not a sidewalk. This is a whole concrete slab. And I'm pretty sure this is about the edge of it. And it goes in a fairly straight line. So this is the concrete slab. Here's the back fence. It also continues going this way, so I don't know how far it goes under this smart pot. I also don't know how far across it goes here because I have filled that tote up and there's no way I can move it. So this is where I'm working. And what I'm going to do is I have entirely too many sweet potato slips. I have more than I have a place to plant. So I thought, well, let me dig this up deep enough to plant sweet potato slips here to see are there too many chemicals in here for them to grow. I figured, it can't hurt to try it because otherwise they're just going to get composted because I don't have a place to put them because apparently they go everywhere. Anyway, but the concrete also goes farther than this little jigsaw path, which was put in before we came here. So what I'm doing now is I'm using this shovel. I love this shovel. It's a flat, like a snow shovel. Tony uses it when he goes to do pooper scooper at the parades. Anyway, I'm using it to clear off the cement. And then I'm taking a shovelful, and I have two flats from the nursery, a wide one and a smaller gauge. And I'm sifting the dirt and wood chips. And these were those colored wood chips that I bought at Home Depot a couple of years ago. I have no idea what that bug is, except dead now. Anyway, so I'm sifting them, and you can see it gets pretty fine. It's pretty fine. So I'm going to use that in this container and its partner, and that's where I'm going to plant my sweet potatoes. Now, based on what they say about how far, I think I can get 3 per container. That's what I'm going to go for. And then I think I'm going to set the containers either over here on this concrete or way over where the wood chips are and move all the wood chips to cover up all this area where my garden is. But I haven't decided yet. And it's a good thing that I'm almost done with all my food prep because it's just crazy the way that is. So I was going to walk all the way around the garden today, but I'm not sure. I'm thinking about using this falling apart shoe rack. I'll take the hardware out of it and just use them flat and maybe block off where the fence is down here because I've got Bermuda grass coming in. And I don't know if it started here or next door, but now it's gone past the fence. We are eventually going to be replacing this fence. This is the panel that fell down in the last big windstorm, and our neighbors have it tied up there. So, yeah. So that's what I'm doing today, and then by the end of today, when it gets dark out, I'm going to decide. I think I may do an experiment and put this one, or put one of these over here so that it's a little bit shaded behind the smart pot, just to test, And then the other one I'll put over there where wood chips are, but that means I have to move all the wood chips, which means I'll have to take the wheelbarrow out of the, what is that? Shed. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. And I've been doing that for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And I'll break to go in for dinner in a little bit. It's about 3:45 here, and it'll be plenty light after I finish eating. And I'll come back and do some more sifting. And while I'm sifting, I'm going to decide where to put things. It looks like my Wandering Jew is going to come back to life, so that's cool. I cut off my cauliflower. I took a picture of it. I'll try to figure out how to do a picture-in-picture and put it up in the corner. I cut it off because it was spreading instead of being compact. So I cut it off this morning and I cooked it to go in my chili veggies. But I'm going to keep harvesting these leaves for greens because they're great leaves. And I harvested about, 10 to 12 peas this morning. And they're doing really well. There's my little ones that I brought out later. I'm pretty sure that's a hollyhock. This should be a daikon radish, as should that. And I don't know if what's under that cup even made it. I can't tell. Rosemary's probably rooted by now. And I think my purple tree collar really likes being here in the shade and having some shade. I don't think it liked being way out in the sun. I moved my cilantro over here because it was going yellow. I think it may have been getting too hot. I'm hopeful that it will not bolt over here. Right now it's kind of wilty because it's a little bit warm. But the red vein sorrel are doing great. I don't know if the pea is dying or if it just gets yellow as things get hotter, because it's still making peas. So, hey, as long as it makes peas, I will harvest and eat the peas it makes. So that's this smart pot. I figured I'd just do it while I'm here. And this is at eye level. I'm 5'10", so I'm right here is my eye level. So these things have grown to be 6 feet. Well, not really, because the smart pot's pretty high. Anyway, but yeah. Oh, and I see another full pod. I'm gonna have to harvest those soon. I like coming and checking them in the sunshine because you can see how big the peas are. When I came out early this morning to harvest, I had to do the squeeze test. But now you can see the sun coming through, how big each pea is in the pod. It's kind of nice. I have to remember that. Okay, and then there's my onions. They're walking. Okay, I can't help myself. I started. Now we're stuck. I have no luck with green onions. I think maybe the nature of the ceramic pot is that it doesn't stay wet for long enough. So I may stop growing anything in there except things that are more arid. This pea, considering how it looks at the stem, is doing pretty well. I'm going to try not to trip over my container. Here is one of the zucchini that I transplanted. I sprouted it indoors with wet paper towel in a Ziploc bag. And this one is also zucchini. How do I know it's zucchini and not yellow squash? Well, I planted the zucchinis in round pots and the yellow squash in rectangular pots. This is a volunteer something, probably a squash of some kind. My guess would be maybe a spaghetti squash, because that's the only kind of squash I think we've had seeds from. I've got volunteers everywhere. See? Still walking and still going. My kale's gone to flower. Here's my mustard that went to flower, which I think is cool. This one that would be a yellow straight neck squash. This kale hasn't, these two kale haven't flowered. I'm pretty sure these are marigolds because I had that big tall marigold growing in this one last autumn. And then when the flowers died off, I just kind of crumbled it into the soil. My dahlia really is coming back, yay. And my kufia is flowering. It's a purple kufia. And then here's another of my squash. And that's cool because that one was not poking out yet when I planted it in the soil. Here's my strawberry plants. Is that a strawberry? No, it's a red leaf. And they're not doing great. I think I need to completely freshen the soil and stuff. So we'll see how that goes. But these are my 3 new strawberry plants. And I cut 3 strawberries off this morning and ate them with my breakfast. This kale and these Swiss chard I planted, I don't know, last year, early summer, late spring, so they're almost a year old. Why aren't they bigger? Well, because I didn't feed them. I had them in the shade over under the carport, and they don't have a lot of soil. Here's my clover. It hasn't died. Apparently you can't kill it. I don't know if that orange... There's new leaves on my Valencia orange. I planted that seed last year in the house. This kale is flowering. The one next to it is not. And I don't know if it's the same plant with 2 trunks or what. Here's my walking onions. They're walking all over the place. They're like double walking. I don't know why or how, but that's what I'm getting. I'm going to come over around here because the The onions are what I was thinking about. So I'm thinking marjoram, M-A-R-J-O-R-A-M, marjoram. I'm thinking it might be a cool weather crop. I did pull, what did I pull out of there? It was one of the brassicas. I just cut it out because it wasn't doing really well. So I figured, okay, I'll just cut it out. And then here's my purple, I don't know what it is. It's a purple something. Oh, look, it's a bee. I think it's a honeybee. Yay! They're going to pollinate for me this year. This is why I let things go to flower. Can you see the bee? See if I can... Oh, he left. Okay. Oops. One. No, I want one. Close enough. Now this is the kale, dinosaur kale, also known as lacinato kale, also known as Tuscan or Italian kale, or flat leaf kale, or dinosaur kale. I think I said that already. I planted that from seed last autumn. There's my two beets still alive, maybe three. Walking onions, one of my red vein sorrel. My medicinal yarrow is still alive. This one is my chocolate mint. Those are volunteers, probably wildflower weeds. Look how crazy my peppermint has gone. It's excited. But check out these walking onions. I don't know what that's all about. See? It's a trip. If I knew how to do it, I would contact Robbie from Robbie and Gary Gardening Easy, because she's like my garden guru, and ask her what that is. I don't know if it's a different variety of walking onion from what she grows, or if it cross-pollinated with something before I got it, or what. But it's a trip. And I got to get some of this grass out of here. This, I'm pretty sure, is what's called ryegrass, and that's what I'm definitely allergic to. They identified. More walking onions. Okay, let me see if I can get this back to normal. Nope. Please pay no attention to... Oh, there we go. I think that's close. We'll go with that. Okay. And then that might be a delicata down there from the one I had there. I planted some delicata seeds last year. This one is a yellow squash and a volunteer something. I did have Korean melon planted here last autumn, so I don't know if that'll do it. My lemon thyme is coming back. Yay! The garlic is okay here. This poor little sprouting broccoli is not doing well. Another yellow squash. I just moved that this morning because it was in the tote where the dirt is. Purple something or another, some kind of purple brassica. I think I killed a geranium. I don't think it had enough light or water. But I'm using the pot to give some shade to this purple tree collard. This one is zucchini because it's a round container. Something has found it. See that hole out of it? Unless it tore when it was trying to get out of the seed. I don't know. One or the other. But my lemon verbena is coming back very beautifully. I'm so excited. I heard it dies off in the winter. And I was just afraid I was concerned that I might have just straight up killed it. So there's that. I need to feed those two purple tree collards better too. You can see all the grass I got to deal with. But look, I pulled a bunch of grass a few days ago. Well, maybe a week ago. And then more walking onions, celery. Those two tall skinny are chives. Everything other than the kale, I did not plant purposefully. I'm sure I planted it accidentally. And I think these little things beside the walking onions, I'm not sure what those are. Look, my skeleton rose geranium is flowering. Isn't that pretty? They're pretty, and I love the scent. It's very kind of lemony, citronella. And then these two purple sprouting broccoli just got totally tore up by aphids. There's aphids everywhere. How are my carrots doing? I think they need some water, but it's a little warm now. I'll water them later. My compost bin I gotta decide how I'm gonna deal with that. And look, this geranium is going to flower. See the buds? I'm so excited. And then I've got radishes going to seed, another red-veined sorrel. I'm going to eventually transplant that. I don't know what I'm going to do with these strawberry towers. Another purple sprouting broccoli. And then that one is called underneath. It's a hummingbird mint. And that may be why this is kind of spindly, because mint does take over. It's what do you call it? Its roots take over everything. And then over here, I have my dill. I moved it because I thought it was getting scorched, and I think I was right. So now it's in the shade during the hottest part of the day. Round, zucchini, square, yellow straight neck. That's the rosemary I propagated last year, and it did very well all winter. And these are all volunteers. I'm not sure if the big one is a tomato or what, but it's something that I composted, because I threw a bunch of compost in here. You can see my blue lid. I decided to give this guy a chance. He was trying so hard to grow. So I just took the lid off. Swiss chard, rainbow chard. I think I need to move it. I don't think it likes the afternoon sun. Beets and collard. Lettuce. That one is my... Which one is this? It's lettuce. Oh, that would be Cimarron and Bib lettuce. Then it's hard to see, but Cimarron and Bib lettuce. There we go. Watch the screen, not where you're going. That's the gourmet lettuce, and it was supposed to have all different kinds, but only one kind grew. And it looks very similar to the Grand Rapids, which is that. And look, my ones I planted individually are starting to get bigger. Can you even see it? There, I'll take this one off. This one doesn't have it. See? It's my red romaine. But again, I think I need to block the latest afternoon sun for it. I think it's getting too hot. And I don't want it to bolt. But if it does, it does. There's my radishes growing. This is the ones I planted not long ago. My carrots are still growing. I cut off all my garlic greens and put them in my salad today. And then gourmet lettuce, and then the 3 lettuce I transplanted. I think I put that on video. Another red-veined sorrel, purple sprouting broccoli, purple cauliflower. Ooh, I got aphids on it. I think it needs more water. I repotted these a while ago. I need to get it more water. Garlic and arugula, parsley and mustard. Again, these greens, I think they just need more shade. And these get, I think, the most shade of anything, and that's why they're doing so well. It's red romaine in the middle, Grand Rapids around the outside. My thyme hasn't died yet, but I think it also needs to be moved. And there's spinach and Alaska peas in those 2. And that one I'm preparing. I was going to put squash in it. But again, if I can move a lot of these wood chips, get the wheelbarrow out and move the wood chips and just add them to the wood chip cover I have in the main part of the back garden, then I can put both of the sweet potato boxes over here, because they're summer loving. So I figure they're going to want lots and lots of sun. Although when I start them, they probably shouldn't be in the sun too far. But, you know, if they die, it's all an experiment. I'm only going to put 6 in there, so I may pot the others in small pots that I can then transplant if those die. And then move the small pots where it gets a little bit each, a little more sun each day. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, that's my garden. I said I was going to go around. I'm going to start calling these Ring Around the Garden instead of Garden Tour. And just because I like the sound of it. So I'm going to be doing that. Oh, there's my stand that I was going to use to show what I was doing. But instead of showing you as I do it, I'm just pointing and telling you what I did, because that works better for me. I got a couple more flowers over here. This is a salvia on the left and a hummingbird's lunch on the right, which is a kufia. That is a mum. And then over here are two of my conestogas. And they've got seedlings in them. And I put them here because they're going to miss the worst of the afternoon sun. And the reason the ground looks wet is that I watered it. And after dinner, I'm actually going to come out and I'm going to weed this area first. And then I'll deal with that later. But I'm going to weed this first. And then if I have energy and daylight, I'll do some more sifting. But I know a lot of you watching. Oh, here's how my guys are doing. I think, here, let me make this bigger. I think this one is growing new leaves. Where am I? Where's my finger? Right there. See that? I think it's trying to grow new leaves because these other leaves are done. You can see how messed they are. I think it just got too dry. But these guys are doing okay out here, and I need to start giving them more sun each day. I don't see anything in my turmeric yet, but I don't expect it. Uh-oh. This isn't going to stay on here very long, or it's going to grow through the crate. I put these wire baskets because from what I hear, birds like seedlings, especially when they have the new leaves. So I don't know how I'm going to protect that. And then there's a purple tricolored I started in the house in that cup. I ripped the bottom off the cup and planted that in there. And then the clear one down there, I'm going to put compost in. And then I'll water the squash, and it'll water and feed the purple tricolored for a while. Yeah, I may have to figure out a different way to do this. Ooh, look. Use the post there. That's why I left these on, because this is the other half of it. Okay. Oh, yeah, I was going to show you the flowers. Here we go. And there's my hummingbird feeder right outside the kitchen window. And I talk to them when they come. So, here I have, these are snapdragons. These were from American Seed, which came from the Dollar Tree. My poppies, Icelandic poppies, I think they get too hot in the mornings and stuff over here, so I'm just going to rake through that dirt and plant a wildflower mixture in the pot, or use it to plant a vegetable. And then these are the snapdragons from Fairy Morse brand. They're doing really well. I don't know if they're doing better because of where they are against the wall or what. And then the rose bush, which is throwing roses, but also has little white somethings all over it. I don't know what they are. I don't know if they're bugs. I don't know if it's a disease. You can see all the white. I think it might be some kind of bug. But I don't know what to do for it. If I remember, I'll come out and spray them off every day, but I don't know what to do other than that. So that's it. I didn't say at the beginning, today is April the 12th. And I hope I didn't make anybody dizzy or seasick. And I would love it if you put a comment or a thumbs up or an anything. That would be nice. I'd like to know people are watching these. That's pretty much it. And thanks again to Robbie and Gary Gardening Easy on YouTube, because that's where I learned that and old knowledge from my mom are how I'm gardening. And the internet. Okay, I took a break. Now, I think I'm going to have my dinner and then come back and shovel more dirt. What did you do this afternoon? I shoveled dirt.